Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star episode number 148 based on novel. So let's start. The Primal universe compared to the actual universe has a time ratio of 1 minute and 3.28 seconds. The black-robed receiver laughed. Your participation time in here this round is a little more than 30 years. Time is very precious, don't waste it. The black-robed receiver jumped down from the balcony, landing on the ground below. The 1,000 geniuses behind followed suit and jumped, like a big group of locusts, covering the skies as they landed in the spacious pathway in front of the building. Follow me, we'll head to the city owner's mansion. The black-robed receiver said, that's where the city owner stays, and it's also the core of the entire Primal Chaos City. City owner? Luo Feng was shocked when he heard it. As the only city within the entire Primal universe, the history of the Primal Chaos City was even more ancient than many universe countries. The owner of this ancient city, one could only imagine his position. As he was able to take on such a position, his strength definitely wouldn't be weaker than those country leaders. Rumble, ahead in the distance, a 30 m tall single-horned beast clad in red scales walked over. It took up more than half of the entire pathway, and on its back stood a purple short-haired youth. He was dressed in a dark blue armor with similar dark blue boots, while carrying one huge purple blade on his back, looking up at the sky. The black-robed receiver bowed respectfully to display his respect, and the 1,000 youths watched as the huge beast left. Beast taming, you can even bring tamed beasts into Primal Chaos City? The group of youths couldn't help but discuss softly. Ahead, the black-robed receiver smiled. That person before is an eternal resident of Primal Chaos City. As an eternal resident, he has the privilege to bring tamed beasts in. Eternal resident, I heard that even Undyings who want to enter here, the slot alone is incomparably expensive and valuable. The youths were all shocked. Luo Feng couldn't help but exclaim, how can that be? His own teacher, even as a powerful being amongst the Undying, couldn't even afford a slot to enter the Primal universe. However, that youthful-looking man from before was an eternal resident. Nothing's impossible. The black-robed receiver smiled. As long as one has a large enough contribution, or absolute strength, and eventually acquiring the admittance from the Alliance, one can become an eternal resident. Luo Feng pondered, Alliance? Right, this Primal Chaos City was governed by the 5 Leviathans together. He guessed that the alliance he mentioned was that of these 5 together. May I ask, how does one become an eternal resident? Amongst the crowd, the Manka Prince Wuka shouted, the requirements are extremely strict. The black-robed receiver smiled, when you've become an Undying, you'll know them. Asking now is just futile. The black-robed receiver led the bustling group of youths who were of many different human races, walking along the pathways. It was indeed quite a sight. Luo Feng, however, discovered that on the balconies of the buildings along the pathway, among those quietly meditating warriors, only very few of them actually opened their eyes to glance over at this group. Many were too immersed within their training. Many had beards and hair that grew extremely long, almost as though they hadn't been trimmed in hundreds to thousands of years. Ahead is the city owner's mansion. The black-robed receiver pointed ahead. Luo Feng looked up. There was a majestic construct which was over 300 meters tall. Even from afar, one could distinctly see the most glaring 3 words in universe language on the building. City owner residence. Just looking at those words, one couldn't help but get enticed by it. Almost as though hidden within those words was a new space or even universe. One's entire focus couldn't help but get drawn into it and entering into the universe space within those words. This shocked Luo Feng so much he lowered his head and didn't dare take another look. The 3 huge words city owner residence, just take one quick look and don't look at it often. The black-robed receiver laughed, it'll cause you to lose yourself in them. Even Undyings normally wouldn't dare stare at it. That mystical? Many geniuses that hadn't noticed the 3 words before looked up curiously to see. With that, they all fell for it. Ha ha, the black-robed receiver couldn't help but laugh at the scene. He normally attended to groups of absolute warriors. He'd have to be more rigid and felt uncomfortable. However, with these punks, it was much more relaxing. Although it looked like it was located fairly close, as they continued to walk, they realized that it was pretty far. Even though they were walking pretty quickly, it still took several minutes to reach the entrance of the building. With one look they spotted frequent black-robed receivers heading over and away. They also occasionally spotted a few Undyings and Sector Lords entering and leaving the building. Primal Chaos City is the only city within the Primal universe. The black-robed receiver smiled. In this city, there are 3 treasures. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed, listening intently. The first of the 3, which everybody knows about, is that one can naturally see the origin law's movement in the universe. The black-robed receiver smiled. As for the second, it's within the city, it's located within the city owner's mansion. The third is located outside the city. Just what are these treasures? A group of youths couldn't help but ask. The black-robed receiver pointed around the surrounding balconies where many have trained before. For over 1 trillion years, many warriors have stayed and left this city. During their training, any spark or idea would be carved into the grounds and surfaces of the walls, and with deep thought, or whatever gains they discovered, they would also carve there. Luo Feng nodded. Indeed, comprehending the origin laws was akin to flashes of inspiration. When one suddenly comprehended something, one would carve it down. After all, a picture was worth 1,000 words. Even though some people would casually write down a line of words, after a few years, by looking at those few words could easily jolt the memory of the time from before. And ironically, if one typed it into a computer, after a few years, looking at it may not even help recall anything. Personally, drawing and writing, it was a very good comprehending medium. Primal Chaos City, this sort of tradition has been around for countless years. The black-robed youth exclaimed, because the records are all casually left behind, there are no rules. Many of them are even just odd bits and pieces, hence many of them only help a little here and there. However, over 1 trillion years, countless such flashes of inspiration and records have left behind very strong and systematic training aids. The black-robed receiver emphasized, in our Primal Chaos City, there are also the most valuable 52 Primal Chaos tablets. Every tablet records a large amount of mysterious pictures, etc. These 52 tablets are the 52 large pathways of training. These are the pathways that lead directly to the top. If one manages to comprehend even one entire tablet, then he would immediately become an absolute existence within the universe. Even opening your own universe country would be simple. Luo Feng couldn't help but hold his breath. Beside him, Savage Rongjian, Manka Youth, and the 1,000 men and women were all excited. 52 Primal Chaos tablets infused with the pinnacle pathways. After comprehending just one tablet, one could open a universe country. These 52 Primal Chaos tablets are the second treasure located within this city. The black-robed receiver smiled. As for the third treasure, it's outside the city. At the entrance there's a stone monument with specific details. You can all go look at it yourselves. The group were extremely excited with anticipation. The first and second treasure both had huge benefits to everybody. This third treasure couldn't be anything less, the 52 Primal Chaos tablets. The black-robed receiver said, everyone who comes into the Primal Chaos to train will have one chance to look at them. Every time, you'll have a total of 7 days. 7 days? The group stared. That short, the Primal Chaos tablets are the treasures of humanity. They are clearer than any technique manual, and they were pathways to the pinnacle of strength. Just the 7 days of viewing will be sufficient for the likes of you. The black-robed receiver immediately walked towards the entrance door. Enter, get ready to pick your tablet. The residence was a huge place. Even the normal balconies in the living districts were 100 meters long and wide. One could only imagine just how big this residence was. Everyone can only pick one tablet to view and study. The black-robed receiver led the group and quickly entered a mystical pathway. The pathway had 2 walls, and hung on them were the many huge pictures. Luo Feng took one glance and knew immediately there were 52 pictures. Hung on these walls are the 52 stone rubbing copies. Every picture depicts the Primal Chaos tablets. You will first take a look at these, and even though they are unable to infuse within them the energy flows of the original tablets, they will still make you feel a strand of their original energy flow. Just take a look at these 52 pictures, and later decide which tablet you will study. The black-robed receiver spoke. The group of youths walked along the pathway and were stunned by the 52 pictures on the walls. They had to pick the tablets just from these pictures. Every picture was specifically 10 m long and wide, and beside them were their names. I'll give you all half an hour. The black-robed receiver stood outside the pathway. Luo Feng and the group began to look around. Luo Feng randomly picked one to begin. This first one he looked at had an ancient tree that rose to the skies. Its leaves were already yellow and countless of them were falling. These floating leaves that were in mid-air of this picture, with Luo Feng's mental calculation, in an instant he deduced there were definitely over 10,000 leaves. On the picture, the yellow leaves fell one after another. There were still some leaves on the tree itself, the ground however was fully covered in them. Looking on, Luo Feng felt that the leaves floating in mid-air were like soldiers one after another, forming an entire army. That incomparably complex formation, with every 100 forming one complex little group, just adding one extra leaf, that 101 immediately made the formation even more magical and mystical. 1 minute up. Barbata's voice resounded within his mind and woke him up. Luo Feng, you only have half an hour to look at all the pictures. You cannot spend more than 1 minute on one picture, understood? Luo Feng awoke and looked at the name on that picture, Muzu Primal Chaos Tablet. This made Luo Feng crease his eyebrows. Muzu? Is it linked to the Muzu planet? He didn't dare think too much. After all, there were 52 pictures to go through. Luo Feng quickly went to view the rest. He had to look for the most suitable for himself within that half an hour. And the most suitable only that would have the highest efficiency for his training. As for the Muzu tablet, it gave Luo Feng some headaches when he looked at it. 101 leaves, compared to the 100 leaves formation, it was 100 times more magical and mystical. Those over 10,000 leaves, just how much would they change and evolve, it was impossible to imagine. Picture after picture, total silence. The 1,000 geniuses were like starving wolves, their eyes were all gleaming while staring at the many pictures. Before, they were all dissatisfied on having to choose their tablet from looking at pictures, however they still got totally immersed in them. Luckily everyone had their own AI systems to remind them, otherwise they would spend the entire half an hour on one picture. Luo Feng stared at the large picture before him. On it were many slash marks. Every mark gave off a different feeling. The entire picture had a total of 10,081 slashes. The name of the picture was Scarred Heart Primal Chaos Tablet. Alright, your half an hour is up, tell me your tablet choices and I'll record them. The black-robed receiver shouted. I choose the Dragon Order Primal Chaos Tablet. I choose the Wind Shadow Primal Chaos Tablet. The black-robed receiver walked from the outermost layer of the group, slowly progressing inwards, simultaneously asking for each of the geniuses' choices. However, behind the crowd, Luo Feng creased his eyebrows and his gaze sweeping past the 52 pictures. Honesty, out of these 52, there were a total of 38 that actually caught his attention and piqued his interest, including that Muzu Primal Chaos Tablet. Even though it had enticed him, it did however work with a very complex flow movement, most suitable for me. Luo Feng looked at the picture on the left and another on the right. In the distance, his most favorite the 9 Universe Primal Chaos Tablet, and the final one he saw, the Scarred Heart Primal Chaos Tablet. When he looked at the 9 Universe tablet, his entire being cheered excitedly from within, feeling that the 9 Universe tablet was the most suitable for his Nanshan armament's progress. With slight changes, he could even incorporate it into his close combat techniques. However, the Scarred Heart tablet, Luo Feng looked, he could faintly see the skills and blade works appearing within his mind. Those 10081 slashes, they could be said to fully incorporate an extreme level of blade work. Which should I choose? Luo Feng creased his eyebrows. He wanted to train them all. The 9 Universe was most suited for his Nanshan armament, while the Scarred Heart tablet was most suitable for his blade work. Of course his current strength was still very weak, he could only make out very little bits of each of the complex tablets that were infused with extremely profound elements. These 52 tablets were after all the huge pathways to the pinnacle of strength. Theoretically speaking, every tablet in itself could help one comprehend close combat and long-distance combat. Luo Feng turned to look. The black-robed receiver had already recorded over 700 answers. He had already reached beside Luo Feng, looking up and staring at him. Which do you choose? The black-robed receiver asked. I choose the 9 Universe Primal Chaos Tablet. Luo Feng replied seriously. The black-robed receiver nodded and the screen on his arm recorded it immediately. He turned and continued on to the next person. Even though the Scarred Heart tablet and the 9 Universe tablets are both my favorites, and my close combat improves at a fast rate, my strongest skill is still without doubt my long-distance attacks. Right now my close combat is improving, mainly because of the Mosha clone training the illusionary techniques. A true warrior doesn't need every skill and technique to be that strong. If they are all strong, it also means they aren't all that strong in general. Strengthen my strong point. Constantly strengthening my strong points, making them become absolute and powerful. That's a true absolute warrior, and the Scarred Heart tablet begins from the Gold Origin Law's entrance. The 9 Universe tablet approaches however from the Space Origin Law. Amidst the many Origin Laws, it was without a doubt that space and time were the two strongest. If he had to pick, he would pick the stronger one. The black-robed receiver walked till the end of the pathway and recorded everybody's answer, turning and smiling. I've already sent your choices out, follow me. Luo Feng and the rest of the 1,000 followed the black-robed receiver and left that pathway to go deeper, eventually leading to an empty training ground. This training ground was extremely empty and spacious, about 10 kilometers long and wide. If it were an ordinary person from Earth, he wouldn't be able to see end to end. Naturally Luo Feng and the rest could see it all clearly. Within the empty training ground. The 1,000 people gathered, the black-robed receiver stood in front of them. Right now, among the secret rooms of the 52 tablets, 12 of them currently have people in them. The other 40 are empty. The black-robed receiver looked at the group before him. I will now read out the names of these 40 empty rooms. Yangshan Primal Chaos Tablet, Scarred Heart Primal Chaos Tablet. The black-robed receiver swiftly reported the 40 names in one breath. Those that have chosen these 40 tablets immediately head towards the left entrance ahead. You will be arranged to enter the secret rooms. The receiver pointed into the distance. On the left end of the training ground, there was a 30 m tall entrance. Head over there now. Immediately, at least 800 over of the youths became beam of lights and left, leaving behind only a little more than 100 youths. U-139 will wait a while. The black-robed receiver said, the tablets that you have chosen currently have people in them. When other people are in there, it is absolutely forbidden for anyone to open the room and disturb them. Hence, when they've finished, you all will enter. The longest time you'll have to wait will only be 3 days. This way, you can go to the city owner residence's tower. The black-robed receiver pointed ahead. Over there, you can train there first. When it's time for your turn, I'll inform you all. Luo Feng, Savage Rong Jun, and the rest of the 139 youths could only head to the tower. So unlucky. 52 Primal Chaos Tablets, only 12 of these had people in them, and it's actually us. Along the way, the youths were somewhat helpless. Savage Rong Jun smiled and looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng, you and I are really brothers in arms. We entered the top 10 together, up to the top 5 battles, even the choices of the tablets. Both our choices have people in them. Luo Feng nodded, asking, which did you choose, me? The huge axe tablet. Savage Rong Jun said, Rong Jun, I too chose the huge axe tablet. The Manka youth Wuka who was speaking to others turned and suddenly shouted, running over and spoke softly, Luo Feng, Rong Jun, do you know just who left behind this huge axe tablet? Every tablet was left behind by true pinnacle warriors of the human race history in the universe. See 52 Primal Chaos Tablets, they became the treasures of humanity. Who? Rong Jun asked, don't tell me it's connected to the huge axe dojo. Luo Feng thought and asked, right? Wuka nodded, saying softly, this huge axe tablet is left behind by the founder of one of the 5 great leviathans, the huge axe dojo. It holds within unbelievable power. The moment one completely comprehends it, that's simply heavenly. You become the pinnacle of pinnacle existence within the entire universe, the founder of the huge axe dojo. Luo Feng and Rong Jun exchanged glances. My God. One of the 5 great leviathans of humanity. If one actually wanted to put a ranking to these 5 leviathans, it was actually pretty simple from one thing, the entire universe humans, 1008 universe countries, every 10,000 years they hold 2 genius battles, one was organized by the Virtual Universe Company and another by the Huge Axe Dojo. The most exceptional geniuses were picked by these 2. The Universe First Bank, the Universe Galaxy Bank and Universe Mercenary Alliance however never do such things. So who's stronger in the 5? The Virtual Universe Company and the Huge Axe Dojo naturally stand above the rest. And as the founder of the Huge Axe Dojo, his status was much higher than any of the 1008 universe country leaders, hence I chose the Huge Axe Tablet. Wuka was satisfied, also amongst the Sector Lords and Undying, this tablet is also the most popular, ha ha. Rong Jun laughed. Luo Feng twitched his lips. Of course, the rest of the other tablets are also not ordinary in any way, otherwise they'd never gain the right to be erected beside the huge axe tablet. Wuka consoled Luo Feng, study that 9 universe tablet properly, you still have a bright future. As he said, Wuka held his stomach and laughed, you punk. Luo Feng shook his head. In the tower of the residence, Luo Feng and that group of over 100 youths sat within, gazing into the distance. It was too huge. The entire primal chaos was extremely huge. As for the distant areas outside the city, they were a complete blur and hard to see clearly. The main thing was, a large amount of primal chaotic energy was flowing within the primal universe, causing people to be unable to see too far. So comfortable, this primal universe is so much more comfortable than the actual universe. The group of youths were discussing. Luo Feng could feel it too. Ever since they entered the primal universe, his entire body was incomparably comfortable, from internally to external, from mental to his body, they were all comfortable. This is the reason for the primal universe. In the distance a middle-aged man in a loose purple golden long robe walked over. You are the winners from this time's genius competition organized by the Virtual Universe Company. Luo Feng and the rest of the 139 turned and nodded. The reason why you feel so comfortable is because of this. The middle-aged man pointed beside to the primal chaos energy flow floating. This is what we call primal chaos energy. It has different properties from the elemental universe energies in the actual universe. It's also different from those mixed universe energies. This primal chaos energy has the peculiar energy to nurture and evolve many types of things. Surrounded by this energy, naturally you'll feel comfortable. The middle-aged man smiled. Luo Feng and the rest realized. However, this type of energy is only present in the primal universe. The middle-aged man in the purple golden long robe shook his head. Even if you try and bring this energy back to the actual universe, it will only dissipate into other forms of energy. When Luo Feng and the group of youths were chatting with this powerful warrior, suddenly, rumble, in the distant land and skies powerful ripples were happening. The sounds shook both the land and skies. Waves and angry roar resounded throughout the skies of the entire primal chaos city. A fearsome lightning energy immediately pierced through tens of millions of li, causing the strong warriors on the balconies of the buildings to all open their eyes and look into the distance. Luo Feng and the group who were suppressed by that powerful energy had all gone pale, looking shocked from the tower. In the distance a tall and sturdy bull giant dressed in ancient copper armor was almost like a god of the land and skies, wielding a huge axe that was almost his size and waving it and slashing towards another great being that was currently a beam of lightning fleeing. That lightning energy they all felt was from this absolute being fleeing. Silence. Luo Feng and the rest of them were all shocked and pressured by the energies of these two absolute beings. They actually dare to battle in Primal Chaos City? The purple golden long-robed middle-aged man looked in the distance, saying shocked, Waze, how can this bull man be so stupid? Waze, you just entered Primal Chaos City for a few days and you actually dare to make a move on Labor isn't making a move in Primal Chaos City looking for death. Engulfed in the blurry chaos energy within the city, it was impossible to see the end of the city. On the balconies of the many buildings, the warriors of the universe all opened their eyes wide and stared at the distant two people. The one being chased was completely engulfed in lightning. He purposely let his lightning pierce through the entire skies, roar. The tall and sturdy wild bull giant, with his bright red eyes, raged as he waved that terrifying huge axe. His opponent simultaneously fled as he too waved his lightning pike. The space around them crumbled, chaos energy rippled throughout. In the tower of the owner's residence, Luo Feng and the group of individuals had all gone pale. They were simply like ants, while the two in the distance were like giant ancient gods. These two, Luo Feng held his breath, looking at the distant space crumble. His eyes opened wide. They are too strong. Undyings are actually that terrifying. Most of the Undyings he had met were mostly in the virtual universe. Even the ones he met in reality were controlling their auras. This was the first time he was witnessing an Undying actually raging, and this rage, with just a wave, was enough to crumble space within the universe. Just his strength alone can break space. Luo Feng looked up, the surge of lightning snakes in the air. The lightning pierced through 10 million li. With a flip of their hands, they could easily destroy a planet. These were Undying. Luo Feng finally understood. Rumble within the entire Primal Chaos City resounded a rage-filled roar. Suddenly the land and skies completely went dark. Luo Feng was shocked to realize that the initial occasional splits and crumbles in space had sealed by itself. The flowing origin law energies, and even the chaos energies, these all completely went silent and stopped moving altogether. In the distance, the two absolute warriors went silent too. Rumble, above them, large amounts of chaos energy had formed a giant hand, almost like a mountain-size hand. This chaos energy hand violently smacked down, like the heavens smashing down altogether. The two Undyings had a look of shock and fear in their eyes. Waze and Labor, these two had pretty high reputations even within the 1008 universe countries as powerful Undyings. Nevertheless, they were immediately reduced to powder, almost like smashing tofu. The powerful warriors within Primal Chaos City all stared wide-eyed. Both of them became nothing but powder. Even their souls turned to dust. In the distant space, the dust began to swiftly gather again, forming two human shapes. One was the bull giant and the other the skinny man engulfed in lightning, their faces both pale. The skinny man shouted out, "City leader. It's him who wants to kill me, it's Waze who wants to kill me. I'm innocent, I only hate I wasn't able to kill you." The bull man's eyes were red, staring hard at the skinny man, roaring softly, "Stupid." The skinny man laughed coldly and glanced at him. The bull man roared with rage. It couldn't be helped. Just a thought from the city leader and 100,000 li of chaos energy formed a hand, causing these two Undyings to barely survive through it, with no ability to fight back at all. That level of attack control, it was terrifying. The third law enforcement team will kick both Waze and Labor out of the primal universe. Waze will be locked in the 9th Starfield jail, Labio in the 2nd Starfield jail. A low voice, infused with traces of metal or something similar, resounded throughout the entire primal universe. Yes. A resounding reply echoed through the airs of the city. 5 blood-colored lights flew over, against the law enforcement team. The 2 Undyings that had already suffered a heavy blow from before had no resistance at all and not even a trace of resentment. They obediently followed the team and left in an entirely blood-red universe ship. Within that blood-red universe ship, Waze, you are considered lucky. This time you didn't kill anyone. If you had killed someone, you'd be dead without a doubt. You wouldn't be simply locked up in the 9th Starfield jail. Dressed in a blood-red armor, carrying a peculiar round blade, the law enforcement Undying shook his head. The bull man raged softly, his expression struggling as he stared at the distant skinny man. I only hate that I didn't kill Labua. So what if you hide within Primal Chaos City? I will still come to kill you, stupid. Even after you came in you were unable to kill me. This time I'm entering the 2nd jail while you the 9th Starfield jail. Ha ha, I'll watch how you die. Labua laughed maniacally. Die? How can I die before I kill you? The bull giant seemed to want to swallow his opponent. You've been injured this badly, you won't be able to recover within the next 100 years, and you can still rave on so crazily. Silence. The law enforcement's 5 Undyings roared simultaneously. The bull giant and the skinny man finally stopped bickering with each other. Everything happened in an instant and the group of youths in the tower were all stunned. Most of the Primal Chaos City's tens of thousands of warriors too were calm. Only very few who were close or had spoken to Labua and Waze began discussing. Many continued their training. After all, the time within Primal Chaos City was simply too valuable. For Undyings to enter, just 1 slot was incredibly shocking. They even became dust, but they still survived. I dare to guarantee, both their souls were dead beyond dead. What do you know? Those 2 Undyings have already reached the immortal body level. Their every cell has been infused with their mental memories. Even if their souls are destroyed and reduced to ashes, as long as 1 cell remains, they can swiftly absorb energy and their body bits and regain their form. Immortal body. I heard that even amongst the Undying, very few actually make it to this level. Those 2 Undyings don't even mean anything. That city leader that made that move, now that was a truly terrifying being. He didn't even show himself. With just a thought, the entire universe space stopped its movement, even the space splits and origin lore engravings all stopped. The group of geniuses were discussing rampantly. Luo Feng and the group were both shocked and excited over what had happened, especially that move by the city leader. It was simply overwhelming. Their bloods rushed with adrenaline. This was because they could all see that the city leader didn't even reveal himself, and he actually controlled the entire space within the city. Just how big of a deal was this? All of the universe laws, all of Primal Chaos City stopping its movement. Within an instant all beings were forced to freeze. Just what level was this? Simply unbelievable. To be Primal Chaos City's leader, his position must be much higher than all the universe country leaders. Even in the entire universe, he must be an absolute being. With just a thought he can control the entire universe space and freeze its movement. Luo Feng was completely stunned. The leader of Primal Chaos City, he felt like he was the master of the universe. Right, master, damn, I've followed your teacher for over 60 million years. I've never seen such a powerful and brutal being. In his mind Barbata's high voice resounded. That's sick, I've seen a universe country leader make a move. I thought that was terrifying as within an instant he controlled the space and destroyed or injured countless within a star field. However, it still pales in comparison to that Primal Chaos City leader's attack. This leader must definitely be a pinnacle being. I even feel like this primal universe is his. Luo Feng nodded. Right. There was indeed that feeling of the city being the leaders, and the leader was the universe itself. Primal universe, there's just this one Primal Chaos City. It's a lot more ancient than many universe countries. The leader of this city is the true pinnacle being of the vast universe. Luo Feng completely held his breath. He had the confidence of becoming an Undying, even the power to head towards becoming a universe country leader. No matter what happened, at least he was able to see and touch this dream of his. A universe country leader, opening a new universe country, not falling for 1 trillion years. That was already a heavenly goal. In the history of the entire humanity in the universe, it took trillions of years for a universe country leader to appear. Hence, one could only imagine its difficulty. As for the even higher Primal Chaos City leader, Luo Feng felt like he did when he was young looking into the skies. He was mortal, that leader was like the gods himself. For someone that small to look up, it made him wonder, is that a place a normal person can actually reach? Universe country leader, dominating for 1 trillion years, they were all unbelievable existences, and even during your teacher's lifespan, there was no news of any new universe country leaders being produced at all. Even stronger than a universe country leader? My God. Barbata had completely descended into madness. The ancient primal chaos city, Luophone, and the group of youths stood in the tower, watching the splits in spaces within the skies. Those splits had threads of origin laws interweaving between each other. Watching them gave off a feeling of the origin laws and their peculiar ripples mixing with each other. Luophone and the group were immersed within. They were all geniuses that had stepped through the gateway of the origin laws, hence it was naturally very easy to get immersed within. If it was some normal fighter or spirit reader that hadn't stepped through the entrance, they'd only be stunned while watching this scene in front of them. They had been stimulated. Of the 100, they were all proud geniuses, all absolute geniuses within their universe countries. However, no matter how absolute a genius they were, there was a group every 5,000 years. Just how many were there in 1,000,000,000,000 years? However, since the primal universe had humans from a long time ago, with countless vast and long time flows, how long did it take for a primal chaos city leader-like person to appear? They were all stimulated. The group of proud geniuses were all holding their breaths within. Even if they couldn't become a primal chaos city leader, they would still become universe country leaders. However, their logical side was telling them, even for the most genius of the group, Bolan, his chances of becoming a universe country leader was probably at most 1 over 10 million, much less the rest of them. Wei-te, Luophone, U12 follow me, enter the 9 universe primal chaos tablet room. The black-robed receiver came to castle and called 12 names. Standing there with his eyes closed and immersed in his training, Luophone had to be awoken by his living AI Barbata before he startled. After which, he followed the other 11 young geniuses who chose the 9 universe tablet, all being led by the black-robed receiver into the training room. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.